what you see in me.
Hey, what's up everybody? Before I get into this video, I just want to leave a brief disclaimer. Anything that I discuss in this video is not my perspective or point of view on domestic violence. I actually take domestic violence seriously. I do not take it lightly, but I'm just telling my story. I hope this does not offend anyone. I've never been a drug of domestic violence, especially even prior to me going through it myself. So I just hope that you hear my story, you understand my situation, and yeah, let's get into the video. Hey, what's up everybody? This is your girl Erica, and I'm back with another video. Now, before I get into this video, first off, I just want to thank all of my subscribers, all the people that support me, all the people that's been looking out for me. I really appreciate you. If you haven't, if you're new to the channel, my name is Erica D. Wright. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you could, please subscribe to this channel, like, share, comment with your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, second cousin, third cousin, stepbrother, stepsister, whoever. I appreciate the support. Yeah, so I guess we can get into this video. So I know typically I don't usually open up about my personal life. I typically just I do my vlogs. I give a little home decor and stuff like that. But this time I actually just want to get a little bit more personal. So, I'm probably going to be doing this more often. I don't know how often I'm going to do it. But I do want to give you guys bits and pieces of me. I mean, that's the purpose of y'all watching my channel. I mean, duh. So, I want to get more into my personal life. So starting off, I just want to get off my chest. I just want to go ahead and get this out the way because I know it's going to be something that's going to be talked about later on in the future. So let's just have the conversation now. So my name is Erica D. Wright. I'm originally from this small town called Wascom, Texas. Y'all, it's really country. I mean, it's like on the state line of Texas and Louisiana. You can pass through it in 5 minutes. But, yeah, that's where I'm from. That's pretty much where I grew up for the most part. My mother's side of the family raised me. Not really my dad's side of the family, but it is what it is. We're not going to talk about that. But, yeah, so I grew up there in East Texas, in the country. And then probably like in 2009, I ended up moving to Dallas, Texas. So that's currently where I reside now. And I just want to get into the story time. So I'm just going to give y'all one story. We're just going to leave it at that. And then I'll probably give you guys more. If y'all can get 50 likes on this video, I will start telling more stories. But I'm just going to give y'all one little story time. So this situation, this happened back in 2000, I think 9, 10, literally as soon as I moved to Dallas. So I ended up meeting this guy. I'm not going to put any names in here, but I ended up meeting this guy. So it was actually on my birthday. So I think it was like June 11, 2010 or something like that. And I was dating this guy. Actually, I met this guy. This is so crazy. Y'all, I had a whole moment. So let's just rewind. So I had a whole moment. On my birthday, me and my friend, we just wanted to get drunk. We wanted to get high. We were trying to find some weed. So, you know, the best way to find some weed is in the hood. That was back when I used to smoke. So, it was in the hood or whatever. And I just so happened to see this guy, like, jogging down the street. And I'm like, oh, my God, this guy is, like, so fine. But I didn't even think about the fact that this man was jogging at night. Like, literally at night. Like, 1 o'clock in the morning, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't even think anything about it, but he was working out, had his shirt off, and I was like, dang, this dude is fine boots. So one of my friends actually convinced me to approach him. So I literally went up to this guy, and I was just like, dang, you fine. I want to suck your, and it went there, and he was just like, okay, so what's up? So, y'all, literally, I had a whole moment, and I got in this back seat of my car, and I'm literally, like, real life doing this, right? And the more I'm doing this with him and playing around with him, I'm starting to realize that, dang, I think I kind of like this guy a little bit. Like, he seemed like he pretty cool. And that night, he ended up spending the night in my house. And literally after that, we had probably messed around and hung out for like a week, right? So then he disappeared out of nowhere. Like, he literally disappeared. And I don't know where he was at. And then one day, I just so happened to get online. I was on this app called Tag. Y'all, if y'all don't have Tag, be happy y'all don't have Tag. If you got Tag, if you know, you know. That's all I can say. But anyway, I end up getting on tag and I end up seeing his picture and I'm like, dang, this guy looks so familiar. Let me message him. And this is literally like years later, y'all. So I end up messaging him and he was just like, hey, what's up? You know, how you doing? How you been? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I remember you. I was like, we literally had a little fling like a few years ago. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember I went to jail, blah, blah, blah. I was like, y'all already know where this is going. This is my first experience with a hood. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, you know, he had went to jail or whatever. And he was like, I'm sorry I didn't have your number. I didn't know how to get in contact with you. You know, your number was in my phone, blah, blah, blah. Either way, me and him ended up exchanging numbers, honey. And we got reconnected. And when we got reconnected, the relationship was... it was kind of rocky. Like, I feel like it was okay. Like, our relationship was kind of amazing, honestly. Like, the first few years. Like, I felt like it was cool. Like, we had a good relationship. He's like a manly man. He's buff, tattoos, all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to say any names, but he's buff, tattoos, all that kind of stuff. He was just like, physically, he's the type of guy that I want. As far as his mental, I felt like just like any other, like, prison guy, any other hood guy, you know, they have this mentality like everybody owe them something, and I felt like he was like that for a very long time. But I kind of helped him get himself together. Like, I helped him write his resume, I helped him find a job, I helped him save money and get a car, all those things, right? And the relationship was good. And then he ended up cheating, and it got to the point where he actually cheated on me a couple of times, even with somebody that I know. I'm not gonna say her name either, but you know who you are. But anyway, he ended up cheating. And it got to the point where he started cheating all the time. Like, it got really bad. Like, he cheated, like, on a regular. And for some reason, I was so stuck in this relationship with this guy until this one day, me and him went to work out. And the gym was literally right around the corner from my apartment building. So, you know, me and him, we going to work out, put in a good workout. And, you know, me being old Southern girl I am, you know, I decided I wanted to cook. So I was like, you know what, I'm about to leave so I can go cook. So I went home, I took a shower, I cooked, all the kind of stuff. He was still working out, and he was like, you know, he'll be home in a few. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he wasn't home in like 30 minutes. So I was like, let me go outside and check on him. Y'all, I go outside, and this man, like, I'm literally walking around the apartments looking for this guy. And I turn the corner, and I see him cuddled up with another girl. And they're like, all kissing on each other, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, is this really happening right now? I was like, well, since you want to be with her, how about you just pack your stuff and you could just leave? And I walked off. So as I'm walking off, he starts walking behind me. And because he already know that at this point, once I got back to the house, I was going to cut up. So, you know, I start walking back towards the house or whatever. And like literally, as I'm walking back towards the house, he like grabs my hand and he starts like pulling me towards the house. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get off me, like, leave me alone, blah, blah, blah. So I started shoving him. And I'm like, get away from me. I was like, we are done. And you know, I'm like literally yelling at this guy and screaming and everything else. And all of a sudden, I get hit in my face. And at first I thought it was like, I thought he slapped me, but he actually literally like punched me. And I hear a crack. And I thought it was my tooth. So the whole time I'm like, oh my God, you broke my tooth and blah, blah, blah. So at this point, we're like really at it. Like we're tussling, arguing, yelling at each other, like literally outside, y'all. So we couldn't even make it in the house. We even got to the front door and this guy like started choking me. He started grabbing me. He basically told me that like I was his property and that nobody else would love me the way he loved me. Like all this stuff. Like, y'all, this situation was so crazy. And we get in the house and he like grabbed a knife and he locks the door. And he basically tells me that I better not leave the house. If I left the house, he was going to do something to me. And I'm just like, wow, like, y'all, I was terrified. This is literally like the first domestic like situation that I've ever been in my entire life. I didn't even know how to deal with it. So literally what I did is, because he had pushed the couch towards the door so I couldn't even get out the door. So I literally went to my bedroom and I'm sitting there and I'm like thinking like, what can I do at this point? Like, I don't know what to do in this situation. But eventually he fell asleep. So when he fell asleep, I actually grabbed my cell phone and I went out my bedroom window. And when I went out the window, I actually grabbed my cell phone and I called the police. And the police came and they had him escorted out my house. I told him, like, he has to go. I was like, get your stuff and, like, get out my house. And, like, ever since then, I just never turned back. Like, I would come home from work and he would literally be parked in front of my building, like, sleep in his car. Or he would be sitting on my staircase right in front of my apartment. And I just remember, like, a few days later, I ended up hiring some movers. And I moved out. And since then, I never told that guy where I lived. Like, he still called me to this day every few months, like, hey, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, at this point, I've kind of healed from that situation. I'm kind of over it. But it was very toxic. It was very crazy. I would never in life put myself in that situation again. I'm so glad that I'm over it mentally. You know, I forgave him for it, even though he doesn't deserve it. I forgave him for it, for my healing. But, yo, it was a crazy situation, y'all. Like, this man had cheated on me so many times. But, you know what? I was in love. That was literally, like, my first real love, you know, when I moved to Dallas. And, yeah, it was definitely, I feel like I've learned so many things in that one relationship that I could have learned in 20 years, y'all. Like, it was definitely a life lesson, and I'm so happy that I'm over it, that I'm still living, and I'm here and able to tell my story, because it was definitely, like, a difficult situation for me, but I'm definitely glad that I'm over it. Like, it was crazy, but this man had cracked my jaw. Like, so with the tooth thing, I thought I cracked my tooth. I ended up going to the dentist later and find out that the man had cracked my jaw. But, like, it was a crazy situation. I would never put myself in that situation again, which I'm thinking that's probably why I'm so headstrong now. But yeah, it was definitely a learning lesson. And I mean, I'm glad that I'm where I'm at now. Like, I'm literally at my happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. But yeah, so I just want to give you guys just a little story time, little bits and pieces of me. You're probably gonna see this throughout my channel, because I'm gonna try to do this more often, not just serious stories, but I'm gonna have some funny stories too, some crazy stories, because I definitely have some crazy stories with my friends. I can't name my friends that I had these situations with, because they'll probably be so mad at me if I tell some of these stories, y'all. But yeah, so that's my story. It was crazy. I just want to let you guys into my life a little bit or whatever, but yeah, that's that on that. But I thank you guys for watching my channel, watching my content. I hope that you actually like my little story time. I just gave bits and pieces of it. I could have elaborated on it, but I wanted to make this video really short. But I hope you actually enjoy it, that you enjoyed my story, that you like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be more content coming soon. And I will talk to you guys in my next video.